Hey there, I'm Jama, and over the past few years, I've become very interested in onomatology, the study of names. I never really liked my name until I researched the meaning of it. My name means paradigm shifter, and I'd like to shift your paradigm by shining a light on onomatology and how it can potentially help you find your purpose, help you communicate better with others, or even both. In each episode, I ask someone 8 basic questions regarding their name that focuses on onomatology. So sit back, relax, and try to shift your paradigm with this next episode. All right, so on today's podcast episode, I have Benji with me. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jama. Nice to meet you, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Likewise. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump right into the first question, which is, do you know what the meaning of your name is, or did you have to look it up? And what is it?
I had to Google it. I had to look it up because the name Benjamin to me feels like it has been around for longer than I could even comprehend, and so to think that it had a meaning to me just felt like a moot idea because it's been around for so long. But I did look it up, and apparently the word Benjamin or the name Benjamin means right hand son or something like that, or something about being a male son of the family. I don't know. That's kind of what I got from it. There's some interpretations that said it was the youngest, which I was kind of surprised to see. But
Yeah.
yeah, basically it said like right hand son.
Yep. Yeah, it has Hebrew roots and it means son of the right hand, favor, good fortune, or productiveness. So,
Really?
yeah.
See, I didn't know those last two.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's proud to, I guess, carry that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and also, Benjamin, since it is from Hebrew roots, Benjamin was the 12th and youngest son of Jacob. So I think that's also kind of where it comes from too.
Yeah, I mean that's what I kind of gathered, at least from the biblically, where it had kind of had its roots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you just told me recently that you're the youngest, you said?
I am. I
Okay.
am.
And
What, right, which I wasn't sure if my parents knew the connection there.
yeah,
Part of me thinks that they did because my mom went to Catholic school, but
hmm,
maybe, maybe not. I don't know
it
if
would
she thought
be,
that much about it.
yeah, I think it would be more interesting if they didn't know, because then it's like, huh, maybe a gut feeling. I don't know.
Well, based on my conversation with my mom, it didn't feel like they knew that.
Really. Let's go ahead and
Yeah.
jump to that question. How did your parents choose your name?
So my mom said that one of her best friends growing up, that her best friend, I forget her friend's name, maybe Moira or something like that, but she was one of 5 siblings, and she had her youngest sibling was the only boy in the family, and his name was Benji. And she said that she always loved the name because she felt connected to her youngest brother, and that she liked him growing up, and so she always was fond of that name and decided that she wanted to call me Benji. And so I feel like I'm connecting dots here because I don't know. I have to guess at a certain point that I think my mom decided on Benjamin because at the time my family was Catholic,
Hmm.
at least practicing Catholics. And so I have a feeling that since all of the names that they had chosen for me and my brothers all were Catholic names, that Benjamin, since it was a name from the Bible, and Benji, a name that she had liked, I think it was just kind of a nice marriage to have both those together.
I see. Great. And you prefer Benji over Benjamin.
I do.
Is there any reason
I
why?
do. Well, one, because I've always been called Benji. I've never been called anything else. I've never been called Benjamin or Benny or Ben, or any variation, I guess, that people could throw at me. And so I think when you're called something long enough and feels like it fits for you, that you don't want it any other way.
Hmm.
And even professionally, people have tried to ask, almost to insist that I should be called Ben or something.
Hmm.
Especially like maybe back in my first job. But no, I've always wanted to be Benji, and I feel like I embody Benji, and I feel like I couldn't be I can never be a Ben or a
Yeah.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that you have a stance in that, like you're firm about it. And I even asked you, I was like, do you want me to call you Ben or Benji? And you're like,
Yeah.
no, Benji. And I was like, okay, I respect
Yeah.
that. So,
it would be weird to call me anything else.
mhm.
I do have there are a few people in my life that do call me Ben. One of which is my brother, my oldest brother. My middle brother does not call me Ben. Um, but even my oldest brother, it feels like it's almost like a nickname from
Mm,
Benji. Like it
mhm.
doesn't feel like he wants to call me Ben necessarily, but sometimes it's like he's almost just trying to wrap up saying my name a little quicker. But then
Interesting.
yeah, because he
I
doesn't
wonder
always
why
call
that
me Ben.
is with some
It's
people.
just sometimes I don't know. I don't know. But then I have this friend Allie who I've known since I was like in second or third grade. Um, she's always called me Ben. She's always been very adamant that she wanted to call me Ben, and she's like one of the few people I'll allow to call me Ben. But yeah, no, no, everyone else I usually correct or
Okay.
insist that they don't call me Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to Starbucks and you say, Benji, that's what I want on my cup. No, get
Well,
it right.
yeah, yeah. You're rolling the dice at Starbucks no matter what. But yeah, Benji would be preferred if they got that on my cup.
Yeah. Okay. And the
Mhm.
meaning that I described and also what you gathered, do you like the meaning of your name? Does it, how do you feel about it?
It's fine. I wouldn't say that I'm like, whoa, what a great meeting. Um, if anything, it was kind of eerie that maybe it tied into exactly who I am, the youngest of all my siblings.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I would think that I was kind of hoping for something a little more generous, a little more open to interpretation, and maybe a little bit more like mysterious. But I guess to have something so definitive, it felt more of not a letdown, but it's kind of just like a
Yeah.
It's almost like uh you got the answer perfectly correct, and it's kind of like, oh well, that's kind of boring. I don't
Yeah.
know how else to describe it. I don't want to say I was let down, but it was so matter of fact that it
Yeah.
just kind of it left me wanting more out of my name. But hearing those other definitions that you gave toward the end gave me hope that maybe I have more than just the youngest or the right hand son or whatever it might be.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, and in my opinion, I think it's, and I don't know you all that well, but the things that I've learned, I mean, okay, if you don't mind me saying this and I can edit it out.
Are we going through therapy right now? Is that what's about to happen? Sure.
Well, you were homecoming king, right?
Dissect me. Do what you need, babe. Prom
Wait,
king, prom king.
you're
Yeah.
breaking up a little bit. Okay. So you said you were
Oh,
home
sorry.
a prom king, right?
Prom king, prom king. Mhm.
Okay. So like you won the favor of some people in your school.
Yes.
So yeah. So I mean it's I can see that in the meaning of your name and like little things. Maybe if you think about it and sit with it, how like think about your past and where you have been fortunate or had favor
Hmm.
and I
Sure.
don't know. It
Sure.
might mean something different to you. I don't know, just something to think about.
No, no, I completely agree. Like I usually tell people that I don't think that I would be who I am if my name wasn't as exactly Benji. Like my
Hmm.
parents decided that I was going to be a Ben. I feel like the energy might just be different. Because I feel like throughout my life I did meet a few Bens here and there. Honestly, I can't place exactly who I knew or when I knew them, but it just felt like I not that I had like anything on them, but it's like I was just it was like a deviation, like a variant of Ben that felt so different. And
Mhm.
I feel like it did give me something to almost live up to in a way, not necessarily live up to, but it my name was so unique in that it wasn't like anybody else couldn't have been called Benji because there's a lot of Benjamins out there. But
Yeah.
it just kind of felt like I almost embodied that name Benji. And I've rarely met any other Benjis in my life. I think maybe I've met one other Benji, I
Yeah.
think.
You're the only one I know.
Yeah.
I like
And
it.
even then, like the Benji that I met was like in a virtual meeting for like work where it was like,
Hmm.
oh, Benji. And I was kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
So
part of
have
me
you ever
thinks, yeah,
go
no,
ahead,
no.
sorry.
But part of me is gonna say like I feel like it kind of gave me this almost like a kickstart. Like it kind of it jumped me into a direction when I was given that name, and I kind of just embodied it in a way.
That's good. Thinking back growing up. Have you ever wanted to change your name?
Never. Mm-mm. No, it's been one of those weird things where I love my name so much that I think that I would I would never want to change it. Now that being said, like nicknames or pseudonyms and stuff like that are always fun, but I feel like at the end of the day, Benji is always what I would always what I'd want to be called and what I would want to be.
Okay. But if you
Hmm.
had to change your name and you were forced to change your first name, what would you change it to be? Would you stick with a
See, now I
B name?
see. I knew this question was coming, and I actually sat and thought about it. And I've never wished to be another name other than Benji, because first it's alliterative. Alliterative. My last name is Billman, so it's like BB, and I like the
Mhm.
BB. It's a hard consonant. I feel like it's unique in a lot of ways. Like I'm a huge fan of nicknames, period. So it's kind of like one of those things. I like when a longer name becomes shorter. Like Marty McFly is my favorite character from any movie, right? Back to
Yeah.
the Future.
Mhm.
And I thought to myself, like, could I be a Marty? And I don't know if I could because Marty doesn't feel like it gives the same energy as Benji. However,
Mhm.
interestingly enough, my grandfather's name was Roland, but he liked to be called Marty. And so then I was thinking about that. I was like, it's also familial to where it's like not only is it a character from a movie, but it's also my grandfather's name, nickname. Um, is definitely maybe that'd be the closest to a name I'd want to be called, but I'm not sure if it would still give me the energy that I feel when I'm a Benji in a weird way. That's such a weird sentence to say out loud, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
it just feels like it encapsulates a different person. It's not me, but I guess something akin to Marty or something close to that would be a
Okay.
nice name to have.
Okay.
Um, yeah, yeah.
Very, very good. And has
Thanks.
Benji ever been mispronounced?
Hmm.
Yeah.
It sure has. It has. Surprisingly enough. Um,
What have you heard? And how does it make you
oh,
feel when somebody mispronounces it?
I hate it more than anything, Jama. I cannot stand it when someone mispronounces my name because it feels like such a softball. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like to me, it's like Benji was the title of a movie of a dog in the 70s and 80s. Like to
Mhm.
me, I feel like that was a name that has been around enough to I think that people should be able to put their thumb on. So it's interesting because the misnomer that I've gotten for my name is Bengi. Bengi, like a hard G.
Hmm.
Um, and what this usually comes from and how it's derived is it's usually lost in translation because someone will write down my name wrong and then someone will read out the incorrect spelling of my name, which happens more often than you would think. But when you go to a restaurant and you say, "Hey, order for Benji," and they'll write down Bengi for whatever reason, a lot of the time, or Bengy, God forbid. Um, and then the person who didn't take the order, it's somebody who is administering the order, giving the order. They are reading what somebody else had written down and they say Bengi,
Mhm.
which is actually crazy enough. It became my nickname in college because it happened frequently enough. And I would get irked every time it would happen. Like, not to the people. I'd be a little short. I'd be like, thank you, it's Benji. And then I'd kind of walk away. And then, of course, I'd go back and I'd rant to my friends. I'm like, how could they get my name wrong? It's Benji. Like, why do they call me Bengi? And
Yeah.
when it happened, like the fourth time when my friends were around, they decided that's all they called me. They go, so Bengi, what'd you get for dinner? What'd you get over there, Bengi? And I was like, oh my God. And they still call me Bengi to this day because of
Oh,
some because of people. Now, it is a term of endearment because they're my favorite people. They're my
right.
people. So I let them call me that because I think it's hilarious that I got a nickname because I don't get nicknames in my life. Benji is already a nickname. And
Yeah.
I'm a nickname giver. Like as a teacher, I love giving nicknames to students. I love giving like shorthand nickname stuff. And I never got one as a kid, but
Hmm.
so I guess I kind of had to embrace just with them, just like six people. They get to call me
Yeah.
Bengi. No one else gets to call me that.
A select few.
Um, yeah, yeah, select few. But it was weird. It's weird to think that someone can mispronounce my name, but it was just a stretch of like 5 years in college where I really heard it frequently, and it
Hmm.
was odd. It was
Yeah.
almost like there was something in the water those years or something. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I don't
I
like it.
Yeah. I like it when I meet other people who hold their name in high regard
Mhm.
because I have met many people who don't know the meaning of their name, who don't care. And I think I've had a friend and a work colleague say it's almost like a company logo. It's like your
Yeah.
brand. It is you. It's the first thing that you say when you introduce yourself. And it's something that I think you're valid and I fully respect that you are adamant about what you want to be called and how you feel, like you embrace how you feel about that name. And I think that that's a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that was like the thing for me was I never really cared to look up what my name meant, mostly because it meant something to me that didn't matter what it meant,
Hmm.
to maybe the history of the name.
Yeah.
Not to like, throw water on that, but it always meant so much to me because I don't meet a lot of Benjis, and it's kind of nice to have, a unique title like that that is like I said, it's not like I have a name that is completely from left field or from a different language or from a different, I don't know, ethnical area, background, whatever. It feels like it's a name that's so attainable for so many people, but it just does not get selected or it's not considered a lot of the time. And
Hmm.
so that's what I think is so fascinating about that is that it's like hiding in plain sight, is that it's a name that is nothing from left field or like an amalgamation of different things. It's just a name that is there that no one really picks. And it's
Hmm.
just I like that.
Yeah.
I
You
like
don't
almost
choose your name,
yeah, right. I
which is
know.
so
I know.
crazy. You don't. You
Uh,
don't choose
I
it.
don't know. I
You
know.
grow into it, I think. And that leads
Yeah.
me to my next question. Do you think that the meaning of your name has any relevance on the way that you act or see the world around you? And if so, how?
I don't think it's necessarily the meaning, like the actual meaning of my name, but it's the meaning that I feed into it that maybe gives me the energy that I have in life. Um, I've always been kind of kind of going back to that analogy of hiding in plain sight. I've always been kind of that person that likes to be an underdog, that likes to be underestimated, or likes to just be myself, be bigger than myself, and take chances, take risks. And I think my name kind of embodies a little bit of that, where it is something that is so obvious, and to me, it's like it's a nickname that is right there, right for the choosing. You know what I mean? Like there's a million Jennifers out there who like to be called a thousand variations of Jenny, Jen, or whatever, and to think that there's maybe just as many Benjamins and I don't know what the percentages are, but it can't be good of how many Benjis or people that choose to be called Benji there are.
Hmm.
It just feels like one of those things that just is so easily overlooked. And I think that maybe I find some connection and reasoning there.
Hmm.
That I've always been very outspoken. I've always been very against the grain. And maybe my name has something to do with it since it is a bit against the grain and different from a name that could have been chosen.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like a lot of us have to find ourselves in our name in a way. You know what I mean? Because you get like when I got in trouble, I'd never be called Benji, you'd be Benjamin, right? Because
Hmm.
your parents use your middle name when you're in trouble.
Oh,
And so
yeah.
I feel like there's a connotation or a connection to the word Benji being the playful, fun side, whereas Benjamin was kind of more the down to business, getting in trouble, or more serious of a manner type of person. Like when you go to court, they say Benjamin, not Benji. When you go to, I don't know, it's just when you're in the presence of something that is a little more authoritative, it kind of resorts me back to that name that I haven't run from necessarily, but I'd never have been called.
Hmm.
So maybe there's a degree of that where my name kind of gives me a lift because it is just a sidestep. It's a little more fun. It's a little lighter. It's
Yeah.
playful. It's fun, just kind of like me. And maybe I'm not sure if there's a chicken or the egg there, but I feel like we walked hand in hand.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And it's maybe something that you can sit alone with and think about in terms of like ask yourself like kind of peel the onion a little bit more and say
Yeah.
like why do I like to be called Benji and not Benjamin? And like really sit with it, and you
Yeah.
can learn more about yourself. And I think that there's simplicity, but there's also such a depth of sitting with something, one topic, your name, and then really and trying to like understand certain aspects of life from it, which I personally have gotten a lot from it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess I haven't considered needing to look into it because I have so much confidence in who I am and my name, especially
mhm.
that I felt like needing to dig further there. It's like my brain's already going in 14 different directions, but to consider that's something that I'm so sure about, that I'm so
Yeah,
confident in, doesn't feel like something that has been worth pursuing for me, at least yet.
yeah.
Um, and actually, while you were just talking there, it kind of took me back to this moment when I was in high school, and there's my friend Jamie. I'd called him Jamie throughout his entire childhood because we'd been friends since we were like five. Um, and he decided junior year or senior year, I forget which, to change to James and to no
Hmm.
longer be called Jamie. Where I kind of felt like me and him were running through this nickname game together. We're like, we both had this playful name that we've had such a long time. And it almost kind of put me in a position to consider, should I try to tighten up my resume, so to speak, or maybe my resume actually, and think to put Benjamin down or Ben. And I remember it was instantaneous. I was like, no way, like I'm never going to do that.
Hmm.
And it kind of made me wonder, like, is it because is it because my name is Benji that I didn't feel like I needed to church myself up, so to speak, to be like more professional or to be a little more, I don't know, tailored in a way. Um, I never once considered it. Like I was very adamant that I was always going to be called Benji. And I don't know, just kind of took me back for a moment.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a solid person right there. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So, my final question. It doesn't matter what your religious preferences are, what your religious views are. I think it's fascinating that the Bible is the greatest selling book of all time. So there's obviously something there if it's the greatest selling book.
Mhm.
And I thought it was interesting how there's quite a few people who their names were changed. Sarai to Sarah, Abram to Abraham, Saul to Paul.
Right.
And I was curious, like, why do you think that was mentioned in the Bible? And what do you think the significance of that is?
So I'm a very practical person. Like I'm very much I don't know. Part of me thinks that as civilizations changed, as I don't know, like honestly, I don't know the history of it. Was it changed in retrospect or was it changed at the time? I don't know. Could you answer that for me? Do you know when the names changed from like Saul to Paul, for example?
Yeah, so well, like God said, like I am going to change your name, Sarai, to Sarah. And he told
Hmm.
Abram that he was going to change his name to Abraham, father of nations, kind of as like a turning point, like a new path that they were going to take. And Saul, now this one's a little interesting. So my dad's a pastor, and he explained it to me that Saul, he was a huge persecutor of Christians. And he wanted, when he converted to Christianity from Judaism, he changed his name to Paul because he was in Rome and that would win the favor of like Romans. It's like a more of a Roman name versus
Hmm.
Saul, which is more of a Jewish name. So it's
Yeah.
more for people to embrace him in that culture. I still am learning, so I'm going to take a huge humble approach to this, but that's my understanding of that.
Okay. Um, so I guess you're asking me to step into the shoes of God to see why he changed their names. Is that right? That's what I'm hearing. Is that
Well, I'm curious as to why it's mentioned. Why do you think it was mentioned in the Bible when the Bible was made? Why is that even a verse? There has to be some kind of importance, right? I would think.
well, right. I mean, there's typically no wasted words in any piece of writing for any good author, at least.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know. I mean, you'd have to consider that.
And that's okay if that's your answer. Totally.
Well,
If you
but
don't
not only
know.
that. I mean, like I said, to put my feet into God, so to speak.
Mm,
is a much more daunting and larger task than I could begin to answer well.
mm,
Um, I don't know. Part of me thinks that there must be a good reason behind. There must be some good reason behind maybe what he thinks the meaning was of those people. You know what I mean?
mm,
Like he could kind of give whatever reason that he could give to them, but as an all omniscient, powerful creator, you would think that maybe he wanted to make up for, or he or she, whoever God is, make up for maybe trying to, I don't know, like imagine as human beings, like when we try to put a name on something, we try to make sure it's as accurate. And you can even see throughout comedy that people lambast misnaming things, whether it's because it's funny to look back on, or maybe because it's the complete opposite of what its actual function is.
mm.
Um, but you know what I mean? Like I think that we find meaning in making sure that we name things correctly. So maybe he just kind of felt like situationally and I don't know, practically, he just wanted to make sure that those people were given the name and respect they deserve. That's the best that I could think of.
I like that. And see,
Um,
I ask these questions to every single person, and
mhm.
I find all of the different answers so enlightening because it helps me see things from different perspectives. It helps me think of things in different ways. And I fully respect your response.
Well, thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. That was a
Yeah.
harder question to answer than I realized looking at it.
Yeah. And you kind of like put me in my place a little bit.
Oh, well, wasn't my intention, but
No.
you passed. You did great. Uh,
But honestly, you have a valid point.
yeah. Well,
You really
appreciate
do.
that. Like I said, trying to be practical. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, yeah, you're right. Should I
It's
even be
tough. I
asking
mean,
this question?
right? Yeah. It's like, sure, we all want to know what's going on in God's realm, but my God, to ask me to put myself into their shoes,
Um,
it's that's a heavy ask.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a great interview. Thank you so much for your time. I really
Yeah, of
appreciate it.
course. Thank you for including me. I appreciate you considering me for this podcast.
Yeah, of course.